Hey guys, how's it going? You all saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. I wanted to talk a bit about what's going on in Minnesota. Now, I want to be clear right off the bat that I am not trying to make any political comment. I am not going to tell you what side you should take, what you should believe. The intention of this video is to talk about what I think our response as Catholics should be when situations like this happen. What do I mean by that? Humans, as people, create a part of our personality as a matter of our identities, things we identify with or by. An example of this is that I am personally a husband and a father. And fulfilling the role in the identity of a father means that I have responsibilities. I have the responsibility of raising my children. Now, I'm also a Catholic. And the Catholic Church gives me a greater responsibility as a Catholic and a father. I ought to raise my children in faith. It is my responsibility to educate them about the doctrines of Catholicism, to present them to the church for the reception of their sacraments, and educate them in terms of like raising their spirit so that they develop their soul in a healthy way as well. These are responsibilities I have been given as a father and a Catholic. So my intention in this video is to talk a bit about what our response should be, what our responsibilities are, what are generally just appropriate responses as Catholics. To be clear, I'm talking about situations that come up like the recent killing of Mr. Alex Preddy, the recent killing of Renee Good, any other situations, the shooting at a worship service earlier this year, even the killing of George Floyd. Any situations like these, any of these horrible catastrophes, whether perpetrated by citizens or officials like police officers or federal agents. When situations like these come up, what are our responsibilities as Catholics? What is appropriate of us as Catholics? The first thing I think that is the most important thing for us to remember, is that as Catholics, we are taught and we believe that death is not a good thing. Period. There is never a case where death is a good thing. We are not meant for death. God did not create us with death in mind, and God does not rejoice in our deaths. It's part of life. It is a part of life. And so we have to recognize it as a part of life and live with that reality. And God works through that reality, sure. But in and of its own right, death is always unfortunate. See, it's easy for us to be caught up in the politics. It's easy for us to ask this question of, oh, well, was the killing justified? Who was in the right, the officer or the person who was killed? But as Catholics, that is not our concern. That is not what we should be thinking of first and foremost as Catholics. What we should be thinking about is, it is unfortunate that a person is dead. Period. End of story. I think it is absolutely appropriate for us as Catholics to see a situation like this and our first response to be a kind of grief, recognizing that this is not what God wanted for us from the beginning. It was not the intention for us to die, and it especially was not the intention for us to kill each other. Now, I know there's the people out there who are probably thinking, well, the Catholic Church allows for killing in self-defense. And that's true. The Catholic Church does say that a person who kills in self-defense is morally justified. And at the same time, that it's still unfortunate that a death occurred. And so my first response, and what I think all Catholics' first response to any situation like these should be, is to recognize that a person is dead, and that is not a good thing. I think it would be an appropriate response for Catholics to immediately, upon learning something like this, to pray for the repose of the soul of the person who died. To be praying that that person be reconciled to God and that they may be walking in glory with God in heaven. I think it is appropriate that we pray for the person who did the killing. And that for both of the persons involved, that we pray that anyone with a guilty conscience should be reconciled to God. And anybody with an innocent conscience should be justified in God and vindicated in justice by God. Now, as Catholics, we also have to recognize our rationality. As Catholics, we have a responsibility to operate as intelligent beings, recognizing that we are intelligent beings. And so everything we do, because as Catholics, we hold our intelligence in high regard. So it is important for us to remember, as Catholics, that whatever we do beyond those things that are most appropriate for us to do, and our responsibilities as Catholics, whatever we do beyond that, we have to bring our intelligence in with us. One thing that's very quickly lost in much of this is to remember the fact that we don't know everything. I did not know Mr. Preddy, nor do I know the man who shot him. I've never heard of either of those people before this event occurred. And so it would not make sense, it would not be rational for me to approach the situation as if I have those answers, because we don't. It is appropriate, however, for me to say, I hope that Mr. Preddy is closer to God now than he was on earth. That the man who shot him is closer to God now than he was before, and that he may become closer to God. To pray that God console the family of Mr. Preddy and the family of the man or the agent who pulled the trigger. Our responsibility as Catholics is to recognize these persons' souls, to recognize their relationship with God and what errors have occurred. It is no mystery to the Catholic Church that the world is a very broken place. Jesus told us that it would be a broken place and that we are not meant for this world. And so when we're faced with these kinds of adversity, it should be our response to pray and try and unite this adversity to God. Hey guys, thank you for watching. If you made it all the way through to the end, thank you very much. I generally try not to bring in politics to this channel. But I did feel that I needed to talk about it today because this event is something that struck close to home. As a Minnesotan, literally close to home in some senses. If you guys have any thoughts, comments, prayers, anything, please stick it in the comments below. I like to hear from you guys, and I try to respond to all your comments. If you want to see more of my opinions, more of my thoughts, most of these videos are actually going to be talking about the Catholic faith and the way the Catholic Church deals with problems. Usually like rational problems, not world problems. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. God bless.